Pgmol have reached out to me for my recent video that has gone viral regarding Howard Webb talking to Michael Owen and explaining to what all of us fans believe to be a nonsensical breakdown of why Kovacic was not sent off. We felt there was holes in what he was saying and the lack of challenge from Michael Owen, which is a typical representation of the mainstream media at large, with a handful of exceptions, that they do not challenge and they do not ask the questions that fans of all clubs want. And for me, we're going to go through this in detail, but my initial thought is, wow, they want to shut down dissenting voices against their processes. To receive this email from the head of communications at the Professional Game Match Officials Association was a shock to me. For an opinion piece, based on what they'd said, explaining how I feel. And I was very clear in the video, when it comes to the element of corruption, I actually got called out by you, my community, because I said potential corruption. You're all saying to me, no, Terry, 100% it is. I'm saying that there's a chance it could be at some points in time because the world is full of corruption. Let's look into what actually happened. The email that I received, and look, I have pixelated the name of the individual because I'm not about causing that person problems. Phone numbers, details have been put over. It said, getting in touch regarding your YouTube video, We Cheated Arsenal, Howard Webb on the VAR disgrace. He says, by using quotation marks, you are stating Howard Webb said this, which he didn't, as you know. Please amend this, and I would appreciate being informed when it is done. Would also welcome your reasoning as to why the wholly inaccurate headline was used. It wasn't a wholly inaccurate headline if they would have taken the... Listen, let me rephrase that. I can appreciate why they think that if you didn't watch the video. Doesn't matter where in the world you are, we love it. It's part of our day-to-day life. We care about these decisions. But the TV companies don't. We get spoken to like little children, like we're dumb and told, patted on the head and told to run away. But no, we have our own platforms now. We have our own voices. This is a disgrace. For me, all I've heard Howard Webb say is, yeah, we cheated Arsenal. But last week we cheated Liverpool. At the same weekend, I saw West Ham cheated this weekend. I saw a penalty not given for a push in the back on Ollie Watkins as he was about to strike the ball. There was a push on the back of a West Ham player when Isak did score. But there was also a push on a Spurs player when Luton scored, and it was disallowed for being a push. So as you all heard there, the main part of the headline, We Cheated Arsenal, was my opinion. And I'm absolutely entitled to put my opinion in the headline of my video. I didn't say Howard Webb said. I said we cheated Arsenal because through what I heard Howard Webb say, and let's go back to what he said, the referee didn't want to impact the game negatively by overreacting when he was discussing why he believed the second yellow wasn't given to Kovacic. My claim in the content, links in the description, by the way, go check out the video if you've not watched it yet, was that last week, it would have been 2 weeks ago now, referees were defended by their governing bodies and by ex-pros, ex-pro referees, that is, when they said, well, they couldn't restart. They restarted the game, Liverpool-Tottenham. They couldn't stop the game and bring the decision back because it's against the law. Then what I hear Howard Webb say is that the law was not followed because a referee didn't want to have a negative impact on the game. That reads to be a spectacle. And what I doubled up by saying in the video for pure context, and this is the issue here, context, is that's where the mainstream media comes in. They get access to the refs. They get access to Howard Webb. They get access to the Pgmol. The challenge, therefore, should be, instead of Michael Owen saying, thanks, mate, thanks for that, let's go grab a beer, the response should be, hang on a minute, are you saying that referees in big games don't follow the letter of the law because they want to try and keep it 11v11. They want the spectacle to be better. They don't want to damage the game by making it 10v11, which we know can sometimes take the sting out of games. Are we saying that matches between Arsenal and Man City are not refereed in the same way as Arsenal versus Luton? We as fans say that on Twitter. We say that in our content online. We want those questions to be posed to the Pgmol because that's how it sounds. That's how it reads. That's how we feel. And the lack of transparency and the lack of knowledge and understanding they give us is what creates this problem. Now, I did respond to the email. I responded to the email and I said, we cheated Arsenal is a statement made by Terry in the video. I say we, my team responded. However, we understand your issue. So I've been very honest here with the gentleman from the Pgmol. I understand why he would see it that way. However, watch the content. And it may not be the Football Terrace now because just like the mainstream, remember the mainstream media tried to shut us down last year, started blocking us from sites, blocking us from interacting with them because we challenged some of their outlandish opinions. This feels very similar. Now, so it may not be the Football Terrace. They might do it with the United Stand. They might do it with DR Sport. And I'd love to see this. Give us access to the refs. Give us access to Howard Webb. Let us ask him questions. No one's going to set him up. No one's going to try and make anyone look stupid. We are just going to ask the questions for transparency that the fans want. Because in my personal opinion, the mainstream media is too tucked up in bed with their friends to do it. I appreciate the email. They have come back to me and said, thanks for clearing that all up. And they've kind of gone away. So it feels to me, just personally, it's an opinion, this feels like a bit of a warning shot. Don't talk about us anymore. That isn't going to happen. Make better refereeing decisions. Be more transparent. Help improve the game. But because, by the way, I hold my hands up. The first 12 to 18 months of VAR, I'm on record. The tweets are still there. The videos are still there. I thought it was fantastic for the game. I thought it was improving football, generally speaking. The last 12 to 18 months, it's damaging the game exponentially. And it isn't just our referees here. Look what happened last night, Spain versus Scotland. Scott McTominay scores a weldy of a free kick. A weldy of a free kick. Not a single complaint from the Spanish goalkeeper. Not a single complaint from a Spanish player. VAR then rules it out. There was a very slight nudge from the guy, the Scotland player in white you can see next to the goalkeeper. But the goalkeeper didn't even complain because he knew he couldn't get anywhere near the shot. So he didn't think it was a foul. Nobody watching thought it was a foul. No commentator thought it was a foul. The referee's assistant, nobody in real time thought it was a foul. VAR gets involved and discounts the goal for a foul. And you think, go back to yesterday's video. We saw two pushes in the backs of players the other day that led to goals and no penalties. We saw a very little push get a goal for Luton disallowed. We now see a minute push get a massive goal in a European qualifier disallowed. But this is the most sickening element. 20 minutes later, according to the commentators who were informed this by VAR, by the officials, the commentators stated that the original decision was given as a foul. 20 minutes later, they changed it to offside. And at no point on our screens, at no point when you watch the footage back, did it appear they were looking at or checking for an offside. So again, I'll reiterate this message as per titles you may see on videos, and not just videos of the Football Terrace, but if a fan calls in to Talk Sport and makes a claim, they'll publish that. This is not weird, abnormal clickbait. It's an opinion. Scotland fans have every right today to say UEFA cheated us, the referees cheated us. They have absolutely every right to say that because they've gone from checking for a foul and giving one that 90% of fans don't think is one to now saying it's offside. And what's interesting is the player actually is in an offside position. So one, why don't you check that first? When I saw the footage, I was watching it live. When I saw them checking, my initial thought was, they're checking for offside, aren't they? But then you look at it back and it wasn't really impeding the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper can see the ball, as you can see there. And it's such a good shot. The goal is not saving it anyway. There was no appeal from the goalkeeper. Shouldn't have been disallowed. But changing their decision 20 minutes later, of course, fans are going to ask the question, is there something corrupt going on? Is there something untoward going on? We want to hear the audio live. We want to know what's going on. We need to have clear transparency, understanding of these processes because they are becoming ridiculous. Now, as I said before, the English referees get a lot of stick. A lot of people say go and get referees from abroad. As we saw last night, these mistakes are still happening everywhere. We're just all not watching enough football elsewhere. And the Premier League and the Pgmol should probably go out and try and recruit the best referees from each country. The Premier League has the money. We have the ability to do that. But this comes back to what I said in the other video, and I will not back down no matter how many emails you send me. We feel we are being shortchanged. We feel we're being cheated. We feel corners are being cut. We don't believe, because of a lack of transparency, that everything is above board. And there is definitely the possibility that corruption is going on. I'm not saying there is. I'm not saying any of the referees I've mentioned in any of my videos have participated in any form of corruption. But let us not pretend, if we look through the history of not just football in Europe, but sport in general, to pretend that corruption has not existed. And with these very iffy, strange decisions and a lack of challenge from the media to a point where it almost becomes propaganda, for us not being able to challenge is ridiculous. We are the reason there is so much money in this sport. We pay our TV subscriptions. People buy football kits. They buy sponsors products. They obviously buy their season tickets and go to games. We are the lifeblood of football, and we feel we are being cheated. And we have every right to speak. We have every right to give opinions on what we feel is going on. Football's going through a real big problem right now with officials, and we need to speak more about it. I am certainly not backing down from this fight whatsoever. Leave me your comments below, people, and I'll speak to you all again soon.